Jon Jones' coach, Greg Jackson, assesses Jon's abilities and the expression of his talent at this stage of his career. While speaking with Big John McCarthy and Josh Thompson, Greg was asked whether age and potentially being well past his athletic prime has affected Jon's fighting style and contributed to some of the closest fights he has had. Jon has had only a few close fights in his entire career, and though critics try to make cases for Jon having lost all of those closely contested bouts, an argument about only one of those cases can hold any real weight. The Dominic Reyes fight is Jon's most controversial one, and while speculation about his lack of motivation for it and him underestimating the challenger began right after it, the old rules of the Athletic Commission in Texas likely saved him from his first real loss, as it valued forward pressure as one of its criterion. Despite this, the difficult victory cost Jon damage to his image as an invincible champion, and soon, the age discussion came into play. Greg Jackson comments on this.
Is it because of the age? Is he still that way in the gym? Is he still trying to be creative? Because if you look at his fights with like Dominic Reyes and other guys at Santos, there wasn't as much creativity in those fights as there was with guys when he was younger. Are we starting to see the age not get to him, but he should.
Yeah, sometimes you just have bad fights because certainly his last fight, inside slipping to a takedown to a guillotine choke over the top of GOONS defense. I thought that was eminently creative. I didn't even see that. I mean,
it's fantastic.
But I didn't see that guillotine coming from that position. We had to, again, you elevate your head over their head, you get him in a position, and then he was very creative on that. So I think sometimes you have off fights, man. I mean, certainly I think that when Jon studies, takes it seriously, and focuses, he's a dangerous individual.
Michael Bisping reacts to the potential fight between Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. Talks about these two fighting it out for the third time began after both of them expressed interest in doing so, and considering the state of the division at the very top, the results of their last fights and absence of a bigger fight with another opponent than the trilogy bout for both of them, this is the most likely outcome. Fans happily welcome this idea, as not only it offers an electric clash that proved to be one of the most entertaining matchups 2 times, it also concludes the athletic rivalry between the two. They've each won one of the 2 contests. Each has been an interim lightweight champion, and now they're in somewhat similar stages of their careers, only looking for big and exciting fights. Well, in Dustin's case, maybe an exciting fight. Just one more, as he's spoken about retiring from the sport soon.
A rubber match is only logical, right? Anytime, most of the time, 2 fighters are one apiece, they fight again. They fight a third and final time. Gaethje wants to be a champion though. Dustin Poirier has no designs on being a champion. So other than it just being a fan-friendly matchup, a fight for the ages, a fight to settle the score once and for all, for Poirier, it has no relevance in the title picture. But Dustin Poirier is still the type of guy to take on that challenge, to take on that fight. But I tell you what, it's not what you want in your retirement fight. To fight a guy that knocked you out with a head kick last time out. Generally for Dustin Poirier, he probably wants a big, fun-friendly, lots of attention matchup, which this would be, of course, but also it's a dangerous matchup. You want your last ever fight to go out there, you want to feel the rush of victory. You want to jump on top of the octagon, you want to get on the microphone, you want to give a speech to all your fans, you want to lay the gloves down, you want that whole ceremony, okay? But that doesn't happen if you get sparked out unconscious the way that Dustin did and the way that Justin did.
Dan Hooker wouldn't mind upsetting fans by snatching this fight away from them, but only to offer an equally exciting one that guarantees entertainment. In a recent interview, Dan discussed his future and the available options for his next fight, which included the Justin matchup. After defeating Mateusz Gamrot, the Hangman certainly strengthened his position at the top level of the division and reintroduced himself as someone to be taken seriously even in the context of the title picture. While the Charles Oliveira option has been scrapped due to the Brazilian now being matched up with Michael Chandler in a rematch, there are still multiple interesting options for the Kiwi for his next Octagon appearance. There's Dustin, Justin, and Arman aren't booked, and none of those fights is far-fetched. Dan hasn't tried to mask his dislike of Arman Sarukan and eagerness to fight him, so that's no secret. In his last interview, Hooker explored the possibility of either fighting Dustin or Justin next.
All exciting fights. I'd like to get that rematch against Poirier at some stage, but from that fight, outside looking in, that's a fighter that kind of put his gloves down in the last fight and said he was kind of walking away. So that's a fight. Whenever someone puts their gloves down and retires, that's not really a fight that I will hunt. Like obviously, if that's a fight that he would be looking at, but I can't see him want to run that back anytime soon when there's a lot, like out of respect, there's a lot easier fights out there than running it back off me for 25 minutes. And obviously just engaging is, I think that fight sells itself. I feel like locking the two of us in a cage is just a one-way trip to the hospital.
Khamzat Chimaev got reportedly surrounded by a mob sent by Israel Adesanya. In a recent interview to the Russian channel MMA Brotherhood, Khamzat's friend, former UFC fighter Albert Duraev, revealed the incident, as unfortunately Chimaev's not a stranger to complications with his matchups, something that has caused UFC problems in the past, and in the most recent case, canceled the Whitaker fight when it was first scheduled. And while Khamzat assures fans that those kinds of problems are behind him, many feel that until they don't see him weigh in for the fight, they won't believe that it's actually taking place. Anyway, Chimaev splits his time between training in Russia and Abu Dhabi, where his camp is based for this fight. Albert Duraev, a Chechen fighter who had a short UFC career, revealed an interesting incident that took place a few days ago. He claims that while he was out with Chimaev shopping in Abu Dhabi, the two got suddenly surrounded by a mob of people, some of whom were sent by Israel Adesanya. Quote, "It was a regular day. We just went out to check out some stores, and because Khamzat is popular, we are used to seeing fans follow him and ask pictures when he walks around all the time. But this was different. As fans noticed him and approached us, it seemed that some other people who were looking for Khamzat were also able to spot him. And suddenly, the behavior of the crowd changed. There were about 10 guys that were screaming things at him, like, 'Izzy will smash you,' that's the message, and stuff like that. Some of them tried throwing bottles as well. Mall security kept them away, and we then entered a store to wait for a car to get us out. Khamzat believed that Israel might have paid some of them to get him aggravated and call him out for a fight. Kamaru Usman and Triple C break down Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree. The light heavyweight champion will be defending his title against the unpopular challenger on the 5th of October in Salt Lake City. The announcement of Khalil getting the next shot at Alex's belt was met with mixed reactions. The classic kickboxer versus a Muay Thai styles exchange is promising. On their podcast, Kamaru and Henry share thoughts on the fight.
And how do you doubt a guy that, Shama, a guy that's just getting guys that are going to strike with him? So, I mean, I got to go with Alex Pereira, dude. Unfortunately, I wish I could see him fight Uncle Live. Then we could really kind of debate and talk about who's more likely to win. But the fact that there's cherry picking going on, I don't like it.
And listen, I think I'm gonna shock everybody here. I think you're wrong. What you saying? Everyone just stands and strikes with him, and they lose. I think you're wrong. I think Khalil Rountree shocks the world.